This is my homemade electric mud motor that I've got on my NuCanoe F10. This is a follow-up video from about a year ago where I've got this electric motor on a Swamp Runner mud motor kit, but here I've built my own little setup. I started with a 1/2-inch aluminum shaft, and the hardest part of this was just getting this to be drilled out because I do not have like machine shop quality tools. I'm doing all this basically with a hand drill. So trying to get this to line up accurately was a bit of a challenge. It didn't work out super great, but I was able to get kind of a two-notched deal there to get it to fit in. That shaft was super tough of the motor, so trying to drill through that didn't work super well either. But eventually I was able to get that aluminum shaft coupled up to the motor, and there I've got just the tube with some nylon bushings that I'm gonna slip over this. Then for the end down by the motor, I've just got a kind of like a brass bushing there. Had to bevel the edge to get it to fit, and then I still had to go through and drill that out just a little bit to make things couple up nicely. Started moving on to building the kind of the base for the motor that this shaft would attach to. Once I got all the pieces cut, I just needed to weld them up, but I went ahead and got those nylon bushings put into the shaft and kind of shoved into place. I later went back and pinned these into place just with a little bit of like just kind of a screw that I kind of used as a set screw to get them to stay in place. Then it was time just to get the base all welded up. I'm using a Harbor Freight aluminum welder with a spool gun. It does not like welding some of this thin stuff. Most of this is 100 thou material, and I'm also not the best welder, so I definitely struggled a little bit there. So once I got the base kind of complete there, I just moved on using some scrap angle. I've got quite a bit of that from my previous boat project, so just building up some stuff in front of the motor so that I could get the shaft attached. Then once I got it all tacked together, just did a quick test fit. Doing all this in the garage on a 5-gallon bucket was frustrating at times. Don't really have much of a workbench. Got too many decoys and boat motors stashed everywhere. And then I just moved forward with getting everything welded up and attached. I'm getting ready to hook up the electrical and test this under power. This has the same electrical setups that I had when I had it connected to the Swamp Runner. It's just using a 36 volt, roughly 2700 RPM motor. Bought it off of Amazon. It came with the controller, and I've just got it hooked up to my 36 40 volt yard tool battery. You can see stuff's pretty wobbly. Once it starts running, that's not even up to full speed. A lot of that's just because of how I hooked it up, but the aluminum shaft wasn't super straight to begin with either. But it was good enough for me to go ahead and weld everything up. And I actually found that once I got it in the water, just that little bit of load from the water made a big difference, and it wasn't quite as wobbly. I also added some grease to that shaft, and that made a pretty big difference too. But it's ready for testing.
Oh, it's backwards. Yeah, that's got some pop to it. I want to come back. You want to come back? That looks like a lot of fun. Yeah?
No.
That sucks.
I'm like a half-inch off. So two things here at the end. I had to relocate that battery to the side, and then the attachment point at the transom, it looks pretty flimsy, and yes, it definitely was. It broke off, so I had to replace that with some angle. But that's pretty much it for this video.